It's episode 3 of Beyond the Skybox, an after-hours show where we dive into singular topics, big ideas, what have you, that we really want to get into. This week, we are talking about a very divisive subject, a mechanic that isn't strictly new. It's been around since the Xbox 360 generation. We're talking about achievements. I'm very excited to get into this topic. There is a lot to discuss with it. But first, let me tell you who I am. I'm Brian Barnett, editor-at-large, skyboxcritics.com, and the host of every show except Skydive. Let me introduce Chris Cornelise.
Yeah, I'm Chris Cornelise. I am executive producer of the Skydive podcast, the one that we do currently, that Brian only participates in, doesn't do all the editing and such. How about you, Lucas?
Yeah, I'm Lucas White, the managing editor of Skybox.com.
All right, guys, I have a long and storied personal history when it comes to achievements and trophies. And I can't wait to dive in deep with you guys. But first, let's set the table, as it were. Lucas, what is your level of involvement and engagement with mechanics like achievements, trophies, and whatnot?
Nowadays, pretty low. I think back when I got my 360 for the first time, which was like, I think a few years after the fact, because I used to be like a big Nintendo guy. So if I remember right, the 360 I got was the arcade edition that came with, I forget what it came with exactly. I think it came with like Marvel Ultimate Alliance and something else. It was weird.
What else do you need at that point?
True, that game was awesome.
Probably, it probably came with that puzzle game Hexic, and
doesn't sound right.
Maybe it didn't.
Anyway, I can always look it up. But for a while, when that was kind of like my modern console, I was like pretty stoked about achievements and like getting your points up was pretty cool and stuff. And there were like games where I would go through and be like, I could probably knock this out and get to 1,000. And then like all my friends were on Xbox. So there was like a little bit of competition there. But somewhere I think once I like spread out more and I eventually got like a PS3, and then I got more into like the industry where it's just like less and less time to dedicate to like a single game beyond like the beginning and end. Kind of fell off of it. But I do have some platinum trophies and some of them I did put some effort into, but it's more of a like, I don't know how to put it. Like I'll look at it and if it seems attainable without a ton of extra effort, then I'll like consider it. I usually don't go too further than that.
Yeah, I feel like that. Well, I'll keep my powder dry until Chris has had his say. Chris, how have you, I guess, engaged with this? And do you have a problem? Do you need to seek counseling?
No, thankfully I don't. Maybe back when it first started, but definitely not nowadays. So my introduction to it was slightly different in that I didn't have any of the consoles that's really introduced trophies and achievements and such until after the fact. Like I never owned an Xbox 360. I got a PS3 much later. Again, like I was mostly a Nintendo guy, right? But I was also mostly a PC guy. And through that, while Steam obviously has achievements and integrated all that. It never really clicked quite as hard as it seemed to with the consoles. I guess it's just because there were there's a lot more fanfare to the pop-ups and the rewards, as it were. Like, even though it's just a number goes up next to your name, there's more of that on the consoles than there is on the Steam equivalent.
Mhm.
But where I did engage with it most then was in this little game called World of Warcraft. And I was big into World of Warcraft when they retroactively introduced achievements, and then I did a lot of extra stuff in World of Warcraft, mostly just little achievement hunts and things like that. Some which were way too time consuming, some which were interesting, some which I'm just looking back and going, what the fuck was I thinking?
Going around the Arathi Highlands trying to find a very specific type of squirrel to capture as a pet or what have you. Yeah.
Yeah, I have way too many reputations exalted in that game. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Never did get the insane though, but I had some that are pretty bad.
I had some pretty tough ones. I got the Onyxia one, and a couple of the other ones. I don't remember which, all the crazy ones I got. I have so many titles in that freaking game. But yeah, I definitely did a lot of that. But that was like the one game I was playing at the time, so it wasn't as, I mean, it was as pervasive because they had achievements attached to like literally every possible thing that you could do in that game. But it wasn't
some
like the
rewards that would affect things like different mounts and cosmetic buffs and stuff.
Like I definitely got like the red proto Drake and like some different versions of those and stuff. But when achievements are kind of like difficult challenges that unlock like actual like substantive rewards, I think that can be kind of a mixed bag. On the one hand, I like it more. On the other hand, man, that shit can be really easily weaponized.
Oh yeah.
But one thing that I think I would maybe bench the World of Warcraft topic for now is because the kind of cottage industry and problematic shovelware that has arisen out of the kind of console specific metagame that is the collection of trophies and achievements just like does not exist in WoW. Those are all like those devs' vision, but we are going to talk about that, to be clear. I just don't necessarily want to
MMOs are kind of like MMOs are kind of like their own little sub thing because of how involved they can be and how extensive their systems can be in that regard. So we'll come back to that. We'll shelf that for sure. But that's the big introduction for me of it. But given that, again, a lot of PC play, a lot of Nintendo console play, for me means I never fully engaged in the system as much as I could have until after the fact.
Yeah.
But I did engage and had to wean myself off a little bit, just a little bit. I never got fully into it.
So one interesting thing about this that I don't think you've explicitly said is that Nintendo straight up does not have achievements, and they still don't. There were a bunch of big industry people who hypothesized for, at this point, literally console generations that Nintendo would eventually have to break down and add some sort of an achievement or trophy system, and they just have not. And
they have not, and they haven't had to, and probably for the best, honestly.
I think it is for the best that they have not done that, because I will kind of lay my cards down a little bit. I think that the kind of achievement metagame can prey on some of the same sorts of compulsive behavior as do gambling, gotcha games, these sorts of things. And granted, it's not that achievements are random, although some are in like really awful games, but the dopamine hit where, you know, you have the, what is it, the old experiment where they had mice with electrodes that went to the pleasure sections of their brain, and if they tapped the button they would get like a good feeling, and they literally just stood there and mashed the button until they died. They didn't eat, they didn't drink, they didn't sleep, they just pressed the button until they died. That sort of a thing is just, oh, it's so dangerous. And because games are enjoyable just kind of intrinsically, adding an extra layer on top of this that gives you like a ka-ching, like pop of dopamine whenever you know, unlock something, and like a bigger one with a unique sound when you get like a platinum trophy or a diamond achievement on Xbox. Like, man, when they introduced diamond achievements on Xbox, I was still in the throes of my like compulsion. And let me tell you, there is no pop like a diamond achievement on Xbox. That sound
It's so loud.
is is really wild. And like the sparkling of the diamond and all that sort of stuff. I mean, they really went all out for that one. I do want to talk about this split, but before we do that, I want to say, well, I tell you what, let's lay out our arguments, because I want to have a discussion about what we think about achievements, what we think they bring to the table that wasn't here before, what problems we think they cause. And then I generally want to have a discussion that kind of weighs the pros and the cons. And I want to sort through, like, how do we generally feel? Are we generally for? Are we generally against? Are we ambivalent? You know, these sorts of things. So I'll start on my side of things. I was, you know, I mentioned the shovelware earlier. One of the earlier games of this sort was, I think there was like a Naruto game on 360 where like within 10 minutes you could get 1,000 points in it or something like that. It was something ridiculous.
You're probably talking about Avatar, the last.
I am talking about Avatar.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. That is exactly what I was thinking of.
Naruto, Avatar, same thing, right?
It's, hey,
pretty close.
Guess what? They're both anime I haven't seen, so equal. There you go. In the bin, both of you. But yeah, so we've had things like that. We had things later on when the Vita was really like in its stride. There was a lot of really egregious stuff, like My Name is Mayo. Like, what is that? Taco something? Taco Master. There's like all kinds of nonsense. And I think that stuff is genuinely like toxic, like obsessive compulsive behavior fodder. And that stuff needs to just not exist. I think that sort of stuff is, it's hard for me to say dangerous just because I like to be reserved with my words, but I think it might actually be dangerous. Like, there was a period in my life when in the, like, not in the 360 era as much, but starting with the PS3 with their trophies, where I would try to get platinums in as much as I could, unless it was like really, really difficult. Like, I have the platinum trophy or equivalent in every Souls game that's came out since the PS3's version of Demon Souls. The only one I have not got yet is Elden Ring. And I don't even own Night Rain. But other than those, like every Souls game from Software, I have, but that was like, I want to play this game. I want to do everything this game has to offer me because I adore these games, and I'm just going to go back and get this. That's a little bit different. Like when you play Marvel Spider-Man or whatever, and you're just like, I just adore this game. I adore this character. I want to do everything there is to do. I feel like those types of 100%, or like what Lucas was talking about earlier, where he's just like, if it's not too hard, like I'll do it, you know? the thing for me, the kind of phrase that kind of surfaced as I kind of moved into a more mature relationship with these systems was, if I like have a respect for what the developers have done, like if I like this game, if I respect what they've done, like I will go a little bit out of my way to do it. So like I made a legit attempt with The Last of Us. I think I got everything except for doing like grounded mode difficulty, because I was just like, I'm just not, that's not fun. Whereas previously I would have beat my head on the wall with something that was not fun to do it, because there was a time when I was on Xbox One especially, where like I would buy games like Numa Breath of Life or whatever, where it was just like, this is a puzzle game, this is a relatively easy 1,000 points. I was on message boards being like, all right, what are good games to 1,000 point that are pretty easy? Like I had a problem. You know, I would be playing, you know, X, Y, and Z games on my Vita. I would be playing like Murasaki Baby or what have you. Just like not good games. I was wasting my time, basically.
At that point, it's less the game. You're not playing the games for the game itself. You're playing it for the meta game.
Yes.
Of number must go up.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
you have to think of it like that and look at that and go, why though?
Yeah.
Why?
And it eventually took, God, I don't even remember at this point what it took to like break me out of that cycle. I think I was playing something and I was just like, I was miserable. Like, and I was just like, fuck this. And then I
Why am I
moved
doing this? And then you break yourself from it.
Yeah, and then I moved over to playing things primarily on Switch and PC. I think it was a big part of it was like, I feel like I broke out of this before the PS5, but like the PlayStation 5 controller being like profoundly uncomfortable and causing like pain in my wrist meant like I can't play on console anymore. I need to be able to play on mouse and keyboard. I'm moving back to PC. I don't have this like base of things. And also like for whatever reason, Steam achievements are not a motivating factor. Although I have gotten a few 100% since then. You know, like I 100%ed or got every achievement in Guilty Gear Strive. I'm 1 or 2 achievements short of having 100% in Dragon Ball Fighters. But like generally, they're games that I just play a ton, and then just end up doing it.
Yeah, it's not a stretch. It's not too much of a stretch out of your normal play style in those games to just go and get them.
Yeah. But I do not do the like buy a game to do this anymore.
Right.
And my life is much better.
Imagine that.
Like, yeah, it is.
You're playing games that you actually want to play for the sake of playing the game.
And I think that this is the big thing that I learned from spending so much time on Switch. Partially because of, actually, you know what? I didn't even think about this. I think it started when I got into the industry because I was working for a Nintendo only site. So all of my review keys I was getting on Switch. And then it was just like, all right, well, there's no metagame for me to engage in to keep me in a game that I'm not having fun with. So at this point, I learned, okay, if I'm not having fun, I'm just going to leave. And that turned into like a muscle. Like that became a habit. And then when I went back to PlayStation 5 or what have you, or Series X, it was a muscle that I had been exercising. And so I was just like, this, like realizing, this isn't worth it, became something that I was more able to do because the good lads at Nintendo didn't put an achievement system on their console. But that's where I'm coming at from all of this. I'm curious, you know, Lucas or Chris, I whoever's got something, feel free to run with it.
I've been kind of thinking about my approach here while you've been talking and what I have to even contribute. Because it's not something I've really thought a lot about recently. Although I was kind of like going back in my head, I was like, what have I 100%ed and why? And it's a really eclectic mix of things. And I feel like sometimes it's circumstantial. So like ones that stand out on my mind, like on PlayStation, like I've got the platinum on like Lego Batman 2 for the Vita, and like Virtue's Last Reward.
Oh yeah, I have Virtue's Last Reward as well.
Yeah.
But that's like you just want to see the whole story.
Yeah, exactly. I got Spider-Man, even though I don't really like that game that much, which is a weird one.
That's a pretty Spider-Man is a pretty easy one to get. I have
It's
that
a
one.
pretty
Yeah.
easy one. I'm missing exactly one and then the platinum on that, which I remember because I looked at it and went, do I really want this? And went, nah, not really.
Oh my God, that was it. I just remembered the thing
Spider-Man.
No. I just remember. Chris just reminded me. The one, oh my God, I'm gonna have to think about this. There's a game that I have every achievement in except one. Oh, it was Super Mario Odyssey. Because they have power moons. So yeah. I was doing the same thing that I was doing with trophies, but with the power moons. I was like, I'm gonna get every power moon. And I got to one race and it just really ticked me off. And I was like, that's it. I'm done. And from that moment, like it was like not even if you have the shadow of this completionist, like even the shade of that completionist mentality, I threw out the window at that point. So it was another Nintendo W.
Hell yeah.
Congratulations on making an undersea race where I have to unzip the wall to piss me off enough to just stop.
Yeah, I think my equivalent to that back when I was playing a lot of Xbox was Dynasty Warriors Gundam.
Oh God.
I got most of the achievements. But the last one is like get 100,000 KOs or something like that. And it's just like, I've got every other achievement in this game. I've done everything there is to do because I love this game. It's really good. But I think I was still just like tens of thousands of KOs away. I was just like, there's no other, like, there's no additional game to chasing this anymore. Like there's no like, it would just be doing that for however, who knows how much longer. I was just kind of like, well, I don't really need to do this, do I?
Funnily enough, I have to say, I think it was one of the Dynasty Warriors Gundam games that did the exact same thing to me, where it was one of those, much like the Brian moment of, you know what? Nah, I'm done.
Yeah. Don't actually need to do this.
I think it was Reborn, but yeah.
Let's see. PC ones, I have two, which is weird. I've got Sonic Frontiers and Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin.
How do you are you looking at it like a certain way? Like, are you able to see that just like through Steam?
I am just looking into my mind's eye and drawing.
I don't think there's an easy way to track. There might be. I've never looked. Like, Steam doesn't make as big of a meta thing out of it as the others, which is part of why I feel the appeal isn't there. But we'll come back to that.
I remember Sonic Frontiers because I was talking shit about it because it's funny that I 100%ed a Sonic game.
Yeah.
And then for Final Fantasy, I was playing that on the Epic Game Store, and so it's like the only time I remember that because it's the only one. And both of those times it was just like I'm enjoying this game enough, and like it's like the trophies were relevant to like gameplay things I was interested in doing, and so it just kind of like happened organically. Yeah, I remember hearing a lot about stuff like the Avatar game, and I feel like other ones that come to mind are like King Kong, and there was I believe it was a Hannah Montana game.
Yes, I was going to bring that up.
Yeah,
it's something like it's an easy 5-hour platinum, and real ones know if you have that on your score, you're a real one.
Yeah, there's like people buying that, picking it up. Another thing I think of is like when Concord got shut down, there were people just booting the game over and over again and jumping off a cliff to get the platinum.
Yep.
Oh, I have the platinum for Babylon's Fall.
Why? Why would you do that to yourself?
This man says he has no problem. Get out of here. Now that one I get, like that is funny.
Yeah. I was on a charity stream with Cam Hawkins and Brendan Groom, and we were playing Babylon's Fall. we played through the campaign in 2 sittings. Which is
I'm
really
gonna have
funny.
to have a talk with those gentlemen. I can't.
But then afterwards, this was, I think we had did this right after or right before the news came that it was getting shut down. So I was like, it would be even funnier if I got the platinum, and so I did it.
Just take that a little extra step of going, you know what? I'll get this while I still can, because it would be funny.
That was
I
pretty
did
much
it for the meme.
My entire motivation was like, it's a bit, and now I have that forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like little spikes of like interest in a game will lead to me doing it. But gosh, another one I think is PlayStation All Stars. I actually really like that game.
That game was fun. I had a lot of fun with that game.
Yeah, agreed.
Who did you play?
I played Heihachi and I played Nathan Drake.
Nice. I couldn't stand the way that Nathan played. I wanted to play him. I ended up playing the Big Daddy and Kratos. I feel like I played somebody else.
Can't for the life of me remember who I played in that. Might have been Ratchet and Clank.
I have a big affinity for characters in those platform fighters where they play like they're doing something else in the world.
So you a big Solid Snake and Smash Brothers guy?
Duck Hunt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because like,
but aren't you a Bowser guy like me as well? I feel like we talked about this.
Oh yeah, I main Bowser when I want to like win.
Yeah.
But the Duck Hunt is
Big
like
Daddy played kind of like Bowser. That's why I played him.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, with like Duck Hunt, you can kind of zoom out and be like, oh, I'm not playing as the Duck Hunt dog. I'm playing as someone with the light gun.
Yeah.
Kind of like shooting at this character. Tom and Jerry and Multiverse is another one where it's like they're just kind of like fighting each other.
Yeah.
And it's just like
it happens to be incidental.
Yeah.
Bugs is also like that a little bit. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Nathan Drake is like, he brings his little platform. I mean, not platform, but like his little like waist high cover thing appears and he kind of hides behind that. And
oh my God.
He like shoots a barrel and that's kind of how you get your kills. And it's just like weird kind of indirect stuff like that like invokes the source material. I was like, oh, that's really cool. I like this. Brian's having a
meltdown over there.
Well, I looked up
what memory has been unlocked.
I looked up. It isn't memories. I just got some truth punched in my face. You remember how I said I didn't get the 100% in Elden Ring? I fucking lied. I didn't get the 100% in Elden Ring on PC. I do have the platinum on PlayStation, which comes back to another issue that I had, which was I would beat games multiple times on multiple platforms just to like maximize my stuff. How many times did I play through the Telltale games on different platforms?
Oh no.
Yes, I had a problem. Capital P. But yeah. Yeah, but you feel take it back. I just like I can't deal with the fact that like I memory hold the fact that I actually did 100% Elden Ring. Because of course I did.
In the vault.
Of course I did. It's my favorite of the Souls games. Right up there with Bloodborne.
I feel like I considered doing that and then backed off. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like we've all kind of talked about our experience, shall we say, with brain problems and ADHD and how that kind of manifests. Like Brian, you really like Balatro. I played Balatro and was terrified and turned it off because I
warned people away from it for that exact reason.
I think I have 100%. I think I have 100% completion on Balatro on PC.
Yeah, more so. I'm pretty sure if you don't, then you were working towards it. But I feel like you have.
And I also wanted to say, speaking of problems, so I got a new phone, and because of Xenogears,
that's Balatro.
I bought Balatro on this new Apple phone that I have
My goodness.
because I needed to be able to play something on just my phone that was not fucking Xenogears.
That was not Xenogears. Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
So
So the obsession has unlocked again.
incredible. So one more thing that I was thinking about while we're sitting here, and that's something I did get into really briefly. That's similar. And I think also kind of speaks to like what grabs me when these kinds of things do grab me, and that is Steam trading cards.
This is an
Mm.
interesting thing that I've recently started looking at because I realized that I have like an enormous. So I've been a little bit about my PC gaming history. I've been PC gaming since I was a kid, but I didn't get on Steam until Half-Life 2 came out. One of my friends and quad mates in college, I actually wrote a recommendation letter like for him when he applied like right down the road at Blizzard. So he was one of the people who launched World of Warcraft at Blizzard. So for many years I actually played with him and had like access through Blizzard to WoW. And because of that, they also kind of like had a thing with Vivendi. And he sent me like a copy of Half-Life 2, but you can't play it on PC unless you have Steam. That was like the first example of DRM or whatever. So I've been playing since then. So I have that many trading cards ever since they introduced it, just like sitting in my inventory that I had no knowledge about. But you can actually sell those and make money off of them and what have you. So what has been your? This is something I've like in the past several months. Like I've been like, all right, what's going on with this? So what's going on with trading cards, Lucas?
So you want just like an overview of how it works, or?
I mean, what is drawing you in about this? Like I like one thing, but it is literally just like a passing fancy where like I'll play a game and I'll see like, oh, these are the characters that they have trading cards for. I hope that like I get the characters that I care about or what have you. And then it'll be like, oh, I got like 5 of you know, I don't know. I got a Goku, a Vegeta, a Gohan, you know, what have you. Okay, cool, I'm good. You know, or whatever.
So the thing that got me about them is when you complete a set, you can smush them all together and they spit out a badge for your Steam profile.
Oh.
That's relevant to the game. And if you do it multiple times, you get another badge. Like the badge upgrades, so to speak.
Yeah, it levels up.
Yeah, and it's something different, and then you can like pick which one you want to show on your profile. So like for Ultra Street Fighter 4, for example, it's like different joystick motions. So you can get like the half circle, the DP thing, the quarter circle, whatever. I forget what the level 5 one is. Or like Marvel Heroes, which I was really into. It's like just a badge of like little hero face portraits, and it's the whole crew at the end. I think Binding of Isaac is like different characters you can unlock and set as like your profile. And if I remember right, you would also get like emojis and like wallpapers and stuff for your Steam profile as well when you would complete a trading card game set. So
I'm
for
not
me,
sure
it was
if
like
they're directly connected to the trading cards or if they're something they added on after, but there is a whole ecosystem there of extraneous stuff that you can get for your Steam account.
And this was like before Steam points and things like that, so it was like the only way to get these things. And so I would get that stuff, you know, if I was like really into a game and be like, oh, it'd be really cool to get this profile badge or whatever, and then you know, do it. You know, you have to do it 5 times, and like there's like drop rates, but then you can like sell cards on the marketplace and buy them, and they're always really cheap, like pennies for the most part.
The most expensive ones I've sold were like 13 cents or something, and that's like really fairly high.
Yeah,
I've made over $1 on a couple. I was like, oh hell yeah. Nice. So what I would do is like you know, just playing games on Steam, I would like sell the ones I didn't care about, and then use that to buy the ones I did care about and get the badge upgrades. So I did that a whole lot, and then like sometimes, if I played enough games, and got cards I didn't care about and sold them, I'd actually have enough money to like, get a game during a Steam sale or something. And so there were like periods where I just didn't have money at all, and I was doing all kinds of weird stuff like surveys and mechanical Turks on Amazon and shit like that. Trading cards was another thing I would do, where it's like, oh, I can, do this and have fun money to get a cheap game or something when I can't really get them otherwise. So it was all kind of feeding into that. But um, they kind of made it more difficult a little bit. Like I feel like the drop rates are a lot lower, especially like you get a limited number of drops for a game.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
about to say, I feel
you
like you
can't just
basically get like
finish the set
3.
on your own. You
Yeah.
have to trade.
Yeah. And you can
They
get
did the
packs.
Pokemon thing, basically.
Yeah, kind of. And you can randomly get packs just like you got a booster pack just by using Steam, but it happens so infrequently, at least for me, that it's just like almost never happens. And it's usually something I don't care about. And they introduced this like gem system where you can either sell the cards or break them down into gems and spend your gems on packs, and it got really convoluted and annoying. They introduced foils, which I think that was one of the cards I made over $1 on. It may have been a couple dollars. I was like, I can't tell the difference. I'm just going to sell this, and made decent money. Thinking about that made me think of another thing where it's like one of the reasons I think I don't bother with achievements and trophies even more now is the console UIs are just so terrible to deal with. And like the trophies and achievements are weirdly buried now. Like on Xbox, you have to go to like, you have to pull the game up, open the menu on the game, go to like the
Yeah,
game's
it's
card or something like that, and
terrible.
that's where
It's
you have to go.
terrible
Yeah.
now. And they
And
require you to be
PlayStation, it's
online,
weird.
which they
Yeah.
didn't used to.
So they've kind of like pushed that stuff under a couple of rocks that you have to like go out of your way to even get to look at in a lot of ways. Um, and then like another thing is like if I'm playing a game before it's out, I can't look at the trophies usually. So that's another factor where it's just like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just a lot of weird stuff. I don't really have a point there other than just kind of going over what I have and haven't done, but it's it
It
is
is
interesting.
interesting to bring it up as like an alternative kind of ecosystem that Steam tried to cultivate, and like that stuff has been that's been around for a very long time. Like I
Several
remember,
years.
like I think mainly in the heyday of Team Fortress 2 is when a lot of the inventory trading card stuff came about, because I know that because you could sell a lot of TF2 items, which I did.
Oh
I
yeah, I
made,
sure did too.
yeah,
Did you do the
like
thing way back in the day where it was like an idling thing that somebody made where it like just runs like not TF2 for you, and it would
I
like
did something better.
simulate
I
uh-oh.
did something better. I had two younger brothers who didn't have their own Steam accounts, but were really into TF2. It's one of my most played games on
Uh,
Steam to this day, despite
yeah.
me not playing a huge amount of it. So I ended up
Mm-hmm.
selling a bunch of their stuff when they were done with it, and did that. And my brother still jokingly holds that against me forever. But
Amazing.
yeah, but no, some of those were worth quite a bit, like multiple dollars worth quite a bit, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
interesting.
And
I
then
remember
CS2
specifically.
happened.
Then CS2 happened, and that's where I think they had to really cool their jets on it, because oh boy, that's a whole thing in and of itself, which kind of deviates from the actual topic at hand, so probably won't touch on that. But yeah,
It kind of highlights a part of it though, where it's like you can see conceptually where achievements are like a fun and interesting thing you can do to like engage more with the games you like, and then kind of have your little badges or whatever in your profile. It's like, I did this because I really like this game, and then it just goes a little too far, and people start
You
doing
introduce
unhealthy things
capitalism
with
to
them.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing about
They
it,
stop
right?
being
Like,
fun things and they start being ways to incentivize people to buy very specific games, very specific things, etc. As soon as they stop being fun, cool, like exclusive rewards for like doing something difficult, and they started being like, how can we bilk you out of more of your hard-earned cash? Like, that's when it becomes, then the companies become incentivized to predate on you.
Yeah, you get the Mayo game where it's like, give us $1 and we'll give you a platinum trophy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which then, like, I mean, you can talk. Like, I don't give a shit about this. I have heard people complain about the fact that, like, now if you look at somebody's profile and see a number of platinum trophies, it doesn't mean, oh man, this person like plays games like extensively. It could just be they just bought a bunch of shitty games and then mashed a button a bunch of times, and then that's it. You know, which, like, I don't care, because I don't determine what value a person has by the number next to the G on their you know, Xbox account. I think I even said, I think I posted on Blue Sky that you know, if you look carefully you know, on this picture of your Microsoft profile, you can see the G here stands for genocide.
What?
But it was like, I was just trying to take the piss and do a BDS thing about Microsoft Gamer Score, you know, that sort of thing. Anyways, it's a stupid idea, but I thought it was funny. But anyways, yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. But there is, and on that mark, like Lucas, you were mentioning that there is a good side of achievements that I do want to touch on, because I feel like we've been all gloom and doom because it's very easy to be that way, especially in the world's political climate, etc. There is, and I'm not going to spoil it for anybody in case they want to do it, there are like really standout moments where an achievement kind of like puts a pin in something really cool that happens.
In the previous episode of Beyond, you and I came to the exact same conclusion for the exact same moment in the exact same game.
Yes.
And we're just like, there it is. That's the moment.
Yes. There is a moment in Portal 2 where the developers, a huge pivotal moment in the game takes place. I, as the player playing through it, verbally said something out loud because I was so shocked that this was occurring. And then a fraction of a second later, an achievement pops up that literally answered. It was as though the developers in that moment were answering the thing that I said. I have never been more blown away, which of course makes that moment, it heightens it even further, because they anticipated my reaction and planned for it. And I was like, that is, you know, that is cinema, like right there. This is what this medium should be used for. And another thing that I think is, I don't give a shit about achievements being easy. I don't care if they're easy. There are a bunch of, like, the like I mentioned, the Telltale games. Like, if you play through like Telltale Batman or what have you, basically you get to the end of each chapter, you'll get an achievement. It will have some sort of like a pithy phrase as the name of the achievement that kind of wraps up the feeling of the chapter, or like leads into the next one. I have no problems with that. That's totally fine. I think that so long as the purpose of the game isn't to get achievements, I think you're fine. I also really respect the, I guess it's not Assassin's Creed. I'm trying to think of like a good example of this game. I'm sure you guys will be able to help me out with this, but like the idea of like you get an achievement for basically doing like a nominal amount of like every thing in the game. So like
Yeah, you don't have to 100% it. You just have to do like
you
a
have to
chunk
engage
of it.
with it. Yeah. Basically, it's like instead of like tutorializing in the game, you have one achievement that's like play 5 online multiplayer matches or something like that. Or like play your first multiplayer match, get 10 kills online or something like something where it's just like, oh, do like survive to round like 3 of zombies or whatever. Where it's just like, all right, we're going to scatter these achievements around. So like you'll get stuff at chapters of the story. But if you go into the alternate modes and you at least like give them a shot, like you'll get the achievements for those modes. Like I think incentivizing that sort of a thing is cool. And then another thing that I really like, and this leads to like maybe the 100% trophy that I'm the most proud of, is like what Dishonored does. Dishonored or Dishonored 2, where they hint at in the achievements something that it doesn't seem like you can do or seems like it would be like really insane to do. And they kind of lure you towards a new way of playing or a new idea of how you can engage with the game. Like
in a game like Dishonored, which has a lot of different paths and a lot of reactivity and options and such, having an extra means of nudging a player in that direction in ways that they might not necessarily think of at first is helpful.
I
sure.
never would have played pure stealth in Dishonored without those achievements. And getting through, there's a I did like 3 achievements at the same time in a run through Dishonored. I did Ghost, I did Clean Hands, and I did, I think, Shadow or something like that. And which basically means I went through the entire game never having been seen by anyone and never killing anyone. Like, which is hard. It's not easy to do.
Hard as hell. I've tried it.
It's really hard. But like the knowledge that like ostensibly no one even knows I was anywhere in the game. Like so far as people know, like or so far as people are aware, Corvo Otano just kind of broke out of prison and then disappeared. And then that's it. And then all of his enemies just started like running afoul of various things or what have you. Like,
but there were also, factions plotting against each other and coups and whatnot. So he may have had nothing to do with it.
Which is secretly. Like, that's such an interesting way to incentivize people to play differently. And I think that those things are where achievements like can shine. I'm curious like if you guys
trick shots almost.
Yeah. Or like you look at an achievement list and you're like, wait, you can do that?
Yeah.
Like get through the game without ever leveling up or something. And it's just like, bro, what? Basically having like challenge modes or what have you. Like none of this exists, but like you could make an achievement in like Elden Ring 2 or whatever, where it's like never sit at a bonfire or something. Like just something absurd like that.
Yeah, well,
I remember a lot of people were giving Square Enix guff for a long time because a lot of their trophies were like get every item.
Yeah,
and people just hated that.
Yeah,
but that's like pretty hard to do if you're playing a big RPG.
Yeah.
When you think about it, but.
I imagine that when the inevitable Final Fantasy IX remake comes out, there will be an achievement for getting like Excalibur 2 or whatever.
Yeah. I also remember seeing a lot of divisiveness over whether trophies should include like online or multiplayer type stuff, like stuff that maybe doesn't have you can't like future proof it or whatever to where it'll always be available.
Yeah
there's some achievements these days which you really just can't get anymore as a result.
Yeah
like I think going back to Dynasty Warriors Gundam, because why not, I think it was actually Dynasty Warriors Gundam 3, which I was thinking about trying for the platinum, but I looked at it and went, 100 online matches of this? Nah, I'm good.
It's online play.
Yeah, it does.
That's crazy.
Guess what? No one was playing it. You basically had to go on to like, you would have to go onto like Reddit or whatever was, the game FAQs of the day and just go, hey, anyone want to help me with this? You had to find
Right.
a buddy and basically draft them into it. But yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was still a lot of matches for it. I'm just looked at it and went, no, I'm good, eh? I'm not going to bother with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's just certain modes and things being included in achievements, especially, extraneous multiplayer modes, especially from, the 7 console generation where that was just the style at the time, right? The obligatory, here is a multiplayer mode. And some were good, some were way better than they had any right to be, looking at you, Mass Effect 3, but and then many of them were just kind of phoned in.
Mm-hmm.
But when the servers inevitably go down, what do? Can you still access these? Some of them you can't. You just cannot.
Yeah, I mean that goes into like a, I mean, I don't know. Like there's no,
it's a preservation issue in its own way, kind of.
Yeah, but then is the preservation of the metagame the same as the preservation of the art? Or like
Not
is
really.
the metagame part of the art? I mean, then we get into these really weird discussions where it's just like, does the incentivizing of this sort of behavior, is that in and of itself part of the art? And then does that need to be something that people need to have access to? Because like is
that not the rub of the achievement discussion in general? Like, is this part of the art? Should it be considered that? It's clearly something we can talk about as a whole, but when we're just like, well, some of it can just be removed or tacked out or whatever, then does this have a place in the art?
But they get changed. They get changed just like with other patches and things. They can get changed, and sometimes, like I have gotten on PlayStation, once you unlock the platinum achievement, they don't take it away, even if they add more stuff. So if you get
DLCs and such are usually like their own little subcategory for that reason.
But that wasn't always the case. So like, for example, I think I have the platinum trophy in like Borderlands 1 or 2, but I only have like 70% completion because the subsequent DLC was included in the 100%. Instead, that was before they started doing like, oh, you can release as many DLCs as you want, but the DLC can't get achievements. But on Xbox, if they introduce new DLC, you lose 100% status, which takes that away, which is like, there's an argument to be made for like, are platinum trophies better? Is the 100% better? Like, I preferred the Xbox way of doing things because it all fed into that number. And then like, even if you ditched a game, as long as you got some achievements, it like was still part of your
number
overall,
went up.
Yeah, your overall number. But I wanted to see them add like a completed game or like platinum trophy stand-in where like there was some point on your profile where you could look and just see, oh, 35 games gotten to 100% or whatever. Like, but they just never did that. And then I stopped caring. But I yeah, that is interesting. And like, we can have these, man, it's like, I hate this stupid question. I hate this stupid statement, but like, are gamers owed multiplayer achievements? Like, do you have a right to XYZ thing? And it's like, that sucks. Like, even being put in a position to have to ask that question sucks. Because like, I have the platinum trophy in Killzone 3. I got every achievement in that game literally years before I ever actually hit up my friend and was like, hey, we both own this game. Can we hop online and just play like a match together so I can get this last achievement and get this platinum? And then we did. That, like, if you look at the dates on my trophies, it's like all of these were in like some year, and then it was literally like 2 or 3 years later where I got another one. But yeah, and now you just can't do that anymore. But with whole games like Anthem just like kind of getting thrown in the trash, I don't know. It feels like
that's a bigger part of the discussion, obviously, than just should the achievements be. But it's part of it. Still.
Yeah. I think it's fair. I mean, I don't ever want to see a game like remove modes. Like, and if you just can't get something, because like there's a thing. I literally am missing I have the 100% trophy for Dragon Ball Fighters on PlayStation because that's where I started playing it. I'm shy 2 points on PC. And I've been thinking about it and I've been eyeing it. And one of them is getting to like demon rank or whatever in that game. And there are not that many people playing that game anymore. So it is very difficult to get there just because like in the lower ranks, like they're not really populating matches. So I felt like I'd kind of missed my wave. Yeah.
Yeah, you can end up in an ecosystem with a very small but very established, bunch of online killers who are just cycling back and forth, and they're just like, who's this guy? Just clown on you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild. But yeah. Hopefully I'll get my shot to get that again when the next Goku comes out.
That's insane. It. We need yet another Goku
comes out.
You saw they're making like SSJ4 Goku come back. Oh, ridiculous.
Literally just they know the meme and they're leaning into it now because why the fuck not, right? Like,
that's so frustrating, dude. There are so many characters we could have. Ugh.
But instead you can have two players, each with a 3v3 squad of different Goku.
You know what's insane is you're going to be able to make a team with 3 versions of literally the same character from the same show. You're going to be able to play GT Goku Kid. You're going to be able to play SSJ4 Gogeta, which is half GT Goku adult. And then you're going to have GT Goku adult SSJ4. You could literally just have, it's 3 of the same guy. Like not even like it's becoming a caricature of himself. Anyways, that's neither here nor there.
Well, they made that shit canon in Daimo, so
well, I haven't gotten that far, but I will need to pick it up and watch like the rest of it.
I haven't watched it either, but I just know what happens because it just
They made SSJ4 like actual canon now, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, I like that. I like having options.
About it. I'm not thrilled about it, but maybe it's cool in context. I don't know.
I mean, I was a big fan of when they made like Gogeta canon because I'm a huge fan of that.
But that was part of the Broly movie, and that was awesome. So
yes, that's true. They made Broly canon too, so like, yeah, why not? This is the same.
Seriously, that movie had no right being as good as it did, but
no, it didn't. It didn't at all. And it's like the same thing that like Lucasfilm has done, or like not Lucasfilm, but Disney has done with like Star Wars stuff. They're just like, all right, the expanded universe is gone. Oh, but we're gonna cherry pick Thrawn. You get to come back. This thing you get to come back. Oh, really awesome post ROTJ Luke. No, you get the fuck out of here. We don't want you. Anyways, achievements, you guys.
You know what has achievements? Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh my god.
There you go. Tied it back.
Yeah. Yep. I'm probably I don't know when I'm gonna have like a spare moment to go back to some older games, but like I do want to get back to Jedi Survivor eventually.
Speaking of old games,
yeah,
there's a thing that I haven't messed with at all, but I'm curious, and maybe not because I don't know how much y'all engage with emulation.
I think I know where this is going.
Retro achievements.
Yes,
something I've been kind of looking at, where apparently the community comes together and they make up achievements for older games. And there's like a whole structure system for that.
You can make an account. There's a site you can go to check your points or whatever. You can get plugins on various things. There are like certain emulators where you can sign into your like achievements account and then it will like add them or what have you. Yeah. I picked up on that when I was doing, God, what emulation was I doing? I forget which one, but there was one where it was just like sign into retro achievements or what have you. And I was like, what? Where they're basically like trying to do the thing that Nintendo won't do. So like, oh, what if you played through Super Mario Brothers 3, but there were achievements? Like,
here's one for you. There is a mod that I saw when modding Morrowind recently that, in fact, adds achievements.
I mean, I
full on
believe it.
achievement system in game and everything that modders have built and incorporate and everything, because a mod scene in that game is nuts. But yeah, it's interesting that we're at the point now where older games and retro games and games that or on systems that just don't have that went, we like this idea enough to do it ourselves.
Yeah.
Which I guess at least speaks to some part of how, I guess, intrinsic achievements and trophies and that kind of progression metagame has become to the medium as a whole. Like,
I mean,
that has
when
to
did the
speak
360 come
right?
out? Like the 360, that was 360,
7th gen,
Xbox One,
2006
series. Like that's 3 generations, almost 4 generations ago. Like there are kids for whom achievements are the way that games are made. So
that's true. They've been around for like 20 years or so.
Sense.
So yeah.
And like I will never object to like, well, hold on. Should I be careful with my words here? I was gonna say
never say never.
I was gonna say I'll never object to what people want to mod into a game, but like as somebody who's seen some of these mods, oh baby,
oh yeah, don't say that.
Yeah, I will always have more respect for when people decide to code in things that they want in the game. I'll put it that way. More respect for that than like just it stock being there. When people
care about a piece of art or a game or a world enough to want to add to it.
Your mother fan translations, your adding cut content to let's say Knights of the Old Republic 2.
Kind of fitting.
All this sort of stuff. Like, yeah, if you want to add achievements to your game, and I'm fascinated to see what sorts of achievements that people put in those sorts of games. Because like, what would you do?
Download the Morrowind one and let you know.
Check out Xenogears. And see
what would Jesus Christ?
It's gonna be death blows. It's gonna be death blows.
Unlock every death blow for every character. Beat this character. Beat this boss without using any death blows. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate that you've put this in my head.
I'm curious now. But that's the thing.
Cool. They kind of circumvents some of the icky parts a little bit, I guess. If it's just people kind of coming together and doing it for free and probably taking it some degree of seriousness more than some of the more cynical examples, I assume.
Yeah.
Because like what could a user possibly do? Like, I mean, other than doing like some fucking Kaizo Mario shit, where it's just like, well, I'm making these achievements like impossible. Like, other than that, like what could you possibly do? Like, it's not like the users are gonna get you to buy a skin or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, I have to wonder if there's like some kind of curation aspect to it, or like some kind of like, like Wikipedia management, where it's like,
is it a group? Is it a one person? Yeah. I'd be really curious. Like, what do crowdsourced people who love this game achievements look like? Like, are they you're kind of get to this chapter to like get everything? Like, if you finish the game, you get everything. Are some of them challenge runs? Do you have like a healthy spread or a split? Are they, I mean, I don't know. I'd be really curious. Like, how many achievements could you possibly put into Mario Brothers 1? You know what I mean? Like, how many could you put? It's not that long a game. You can literally speedrun it in 5 minutes. Like,
there you have it. Speedruns.
I mean, yeah, beat it in less than whatever. Take the warp pipe, whatever. Bounce on.
Or, get the Metroid speedrun endings or things like that.
Yeah.
The There's only so much page on their website is massive.
I believe it.
Good grief.
And, we talk about it, and this is something that we've kind of, equal parts lauded the benefits of and also kind of taken the piss out of. But, like, people do legitimately really care about achievements and trophies.
Yeah.
Like, it is something that, whether it is because they feel some sort of a sick compulsion, like as I once did, just led down the dark path, or whether it's something that they're just like, you know what, I get what I get, and if something looks fun, then I'll try it, you know. And I'm totally fine if I have 12% completion or 35 or 70 or whatever. I don't care. Which is the healthier way to engage with this sort of stuff. Like, and I'll just say this, like, I should have probably said this up top. Like, engage with things to the extent that they are fun. Don't let yourself get suckered into like having this become like something you do.
All
Unless,
things in moderation. Like,
yeah.
There's interviews with people who had like, you know, hundreds, if not thousands of plat trophies and such.
Yeah.
And just talking about the process and everything. And you see like just everything they're saying or whatever. It's almost like a veiled cry for help, you know?
Yeah.
It's like this is just, for whatever reason, this is latched on usually to neurodivergence, because let's be real.
Yeah.
And, you know, hooked into that and then gotten to it. And I can relate to that because, again, like, to go back to an earlier thing, I've written for Skybox, in fact, a piece about how Balatro made me understand, oh, I probably have ADHD. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, but there's also other systems which how do I put this? Are you familiar with the concept of incremental games, which, you know, clickers, idles, that kind of thing? Yeah, I get really suckered into those for no reason, even though I'm sitting there going, this sucks, I hate it, I can't quit, God help me.
That happened with me and Vampire Survivors. I had to uninstall it.
Yeah, and that's kind of where a lot of these games can be, where they just they kind of lead into the compulsion loop.
Yeah.
Partly because, you know, they hit the dopamine center right, but then they also have, I feel like Vampire Survivors is in fact a good example of it, because it has, in its own way, a billion fucking achievements. And each of those are just like, you know, unlock certain characters, evolve this weapon, unite this weapon, find this secret. All these little things, and I feel like that list of extrinsic objectives often helps guide the play more than the actual play does. Man, I feel like that's the exact same kind of loop and link that something like achievements can often have. It's just, and for somebody who, again, like me, who does latch onto these things, who does like to see the numbers go up, who can fall into those traps, it's kind of the same mentality, I think, and that's where it becomes a danger, and that's where such, you know, achievement hunting behaviors and compulsions can come from.
Yeah, definitely. And then you add like the sort of competition aspect of it, where you can like track your achievements online and have like a public facing profile and, you know, leaderboards and that kind of thing.
Percentage of people who have gotten this achievements, you know, leaderboards of friends, you know, how far along are you? Just, yeah, competition also feeds it, and I feel like that's where the gamer score in particular was probably worse for it, more so than platinum trophies. Because it's one thing to see, here is your number. It's like, I have, you know, 20,000 gamer score versus your 25,000 or whatever. I've got to catch up, or I've got to, you know, I've fallen behind, or haha, look at that guy with only 5,000. What a pleb. Versus that feels more, you know, directly competitive than saying, you know, oh, I've got 4 or 5 platinum trophies. Like,
Yeah.
I wonder about these things.
Because platinums, there's a more like, I don't know, visible link to individual games that you can kind of point to, whereas gamer score is just everything.
It's a homogenous blob,
yeah,
kind of, by contrast, yeah.
That's an interesting point.
And I think that does, again, tie into why the Steam achievements don't seem to click as much for many, because there's no real big link to any kind of profile thing. There's no gamer score. There is no countdown of how many you've got. It's just per game, per achievement, and you might have a little thing that you can, you know, show off, but more of the things that you show off on your profile are tied to other systems, like, as we talked about earlier, the trading cards and the various decorations and such, but they're not usually linked to achievements. So as a result, it hasn't really taken on that same lifeblood.
Yeah. if you click on your page or whatever, you have to scroll past like your controller settings, recent patch notes, or like whatever, all your friends who play, and then achievements are there, like in a little box.
Yeah, you get a cute little blue ribbon if you get them all.
Yeah, yeah. I have all of them in Rivals, and there's just like a little thing. It says 49 out of 49, little blue ribbon. But that's it. That's it. No fanfare or anything. But that's fine with me.
Yeah. Then, still more on this topic, I feel that's worth discussing, and I feel like alternatives almost in games rather than the meta systems. There are games which I thought, which for whatever reason, I'm thinking of New Vegas at the moment, like Fallout New Vegas.
You don't even have to go that far.
Yeah, but not even do you not like. There are in-game achievements which give you perks, which actually boost you. So kill X amount of this enemy, you'll get a damage perk against that kind of enemy. And different little things like that. And it's like, that's interesting. I feel like in-game challenges that give you in-game rewards is kind of, that's almost where the idea of achievements and such came from. And then they just made it the meta system when they made, Xbox Live and the online economy and everything like that. But that's kind of the birthplace of it. And I feel like that's something which I find more interesting as a system, I guess. Just here is a little, like a checkbook of sorts of things you can do and potentially get rewarded for in the game.
Yeah.
I feel that's a more interesting system. And again, it ties back into what I mentioned earlier with MMOs. A lot of MMOs, because you're in that ecosystem playing that game for so much, a lot of it does tie into like that. Like you play the game enough in certain ways to get something cool for when you're further playing the game. You have a cool title, you have a cool mount, you have a cool thing that you can use in the game that it's pertinent to.
And you can use those as sort of like your like ego flexing or whatever, like you can with the super rare mounts in WoW or something like that. Or it can just be in those sorts of games. I feel like they're basically never, I mean, in WoW at least, like they were never advantageous in battle. It was always cosmetic stuff, which like in a single player game is totally fine if you have it be something that's actually beneficial to you in combat. And I definitely would much rather see that being the case. I think one reason why they're not is because that requires more thought.
Definitely.
Like, it's classically, it's Occam's razor, simplest explanation is people didn't want to do the work, which is why like some games straight up don't have achievements at all. Like even on platforms that do have them, like some just don't, they just choose not to, or they won't have a platinum trophy, or they'll have 5 trophies instead of 50 or whatever.
Yeah. Or they're just the most basic things of, just you'll get it as you clear the game.
Yeah.
Done.
There's some games you get an achievement for booting up or even starting a game. And it's just like, wait, what?
Quite a few, in fact, have something to that extent where it's like, this is the benchmark. Everyone is going to have this.
Yeah.
And the only thing it's really good for is exposing how many people buy it on Steam sale and then don't even play it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I would much rather see those sorts of like internal incentive achievement systems where it's like, okay, you do this and you get this in the game. There have been like various phases in achievements and trophies where, like, for example, if you got the platinum trophy in Bloodborne on PS4 within like a certain amount of time before it come out or after it came out, From Software would email you. And they actually would email you like a wallpaper and some things and would unlock like a custom theme for your PlayStation. I know because I got it. And but it's literally the only time that's happened to me. Where like they just knew that I had done a thing and then gave me something for it. There have also been like some systems where they were like PlayStation Stars or what have you, where it would be like, okay, like you could ostensibly like make money through this or get some sort of a reward to then, you know, I don't know. Xbox also had a thing about that, but I'm not going to talk about them. But yeah, there have been like several phases where people have tried to make engaging with this like more impactful on your real life, I guess, in a way.
I feel like at that point, though, then it's just the capitalism creeps in, and then
Yeah.
inevitably it gets exploited either against the gamers or by the gamers in some way that then has to, you know, see changes and such. And that's
why I'm much more of a purist. Like I would much rather be like, oh, kill this many enemies. You got an achievement as like a lizard hunter or something. Now you have 10% increased chance to crit when you're attacking a lizard or whatever. Like anatomical knowledge. There are some like systemic achievements in games like that. Whether or not they've been formalized as like an achievement actually or what have you. And there are some people who
New Vegas system is challenges or something, I think.
Yeah, and there are some games where they've like internalized achievement systems. Like for example, Shovel Knight. Like you actually can get Shovel Knight achievements, and it's the same achievement list as it is on PlayStation and Xbox on Switch, but they're like within the menu of the game.
Yeah, a lot of games.
Quite a few that did that for Nintendo system, just to have something, I guess. But if they can track it, then why not?
Yeah, and if developers want to do that, like why not? Like I don't care. That's fine.
Yeah.
You know,
if they're going to make the achievements anyway, they may as well, and it at least shows some level of thought put into it.
Yeah,
it's like we're at least willing to integrate it into it rather than just have someone in the back end code little triggers for the pop up on the Xbox or whatever. Like,
yeah, and then Nintendo only players don't feel like there's anything they're missing out on. Like you literally get everything all the other platforms have, which is, I guess, cool for them.
But yeah, I feel like we've covered a lot of the talking points we can here. Just ultimately how it started, how it went, how it's been explored in different ways, and how for better and usually for worse it's gone.
I feel like generally, and this was kind of the larger gaming space has fallen victim to like several of these things. Like I think most famously, like with like the race to the bottom with like the Apple Store ecosystem and like the introduction of free-to-play games and all this sort of stuff. Like I feel like that's been the biggest one, but there has been kind of a general trend towards more and more egregious examples of this sort of thing being done. But I feel like by and large, they're typically like fairly inoffensive as long as you're playing like actual games and staying away from all of the shovelware. I mean, but that ends up being a problem with like curation on storefronts. It's like that sort of thing more than anything else.
Curation and preying on, people preying on neurodivergent to make a couple of bucks. And it's like, okay, that's not on. Don't do that, guys. But ideally, most people would look at that and go, whatever. Like, there's so much goddamn shovelware. There's so many games coming out these days. And like,
now it's the AI swap that's a problem.
Oh, God, don't even get me started.
You just
Lucas
is a nightmare now.
Lucas, you just introduced the darkest future, which is like OpenAI and Sora meta achievements, where it's like put in 5 queries today or something like that.
Jesus.
God. Just throw me into the sea, which is increasing bit by bit in temperature until we all die.
So achievements built by AI, you'll just be playing your game and it'll go bloop, and then it'll be gibberish.
And then people will have AI play their games too. And then we'll just be burning the planet to cinders for no benefit at all. Fuck you, Sam Altman.
0.
Yeah. Check out our AI Could Never series on Skybox. A whole list of articles of
there we
games that
go.
highlight this kind of stuff.
Yep. Is there anything that you guys feel like we've missed or not touched on? I feel like there must be something, but that's just kind of how my brain works.
Yeah.
I can think of one more thing.
All right.
And again, this ties back into WoW achievements because these are the ones that, you know, I know and understand. There are some of them are FOMO. Here's the rub, right? It is possible to link this system to FOMO in addition to everything else it can by making either like, and again, like the shutdown
the
of
online?
Concord or Babylon's Fall.
Yeah.
Yeah. As is mentioned, like some of these games you can't get or whatever, so it's just like, well, get it now or you're going to miss out.
Mm-hmm.
But there are aspects to that in WoW. For example, the head of the curve and cutting edge achievements basically have you must beat this raid or attain a certain threshold on like Mythic Plus or whatever before the season ends. So effectively, you have to do it with the gear you get from that season rather than the next raid tier giving you easy mode and going back. And there's usually like mountain title rewards, little things like that, but you can't get these achievements after the fact. You still get the general achievements. You can still get the challenge mode achievements, but you can't get those limited time ones. And that can lead to FOMO, but it can also, in its own way, it's like, I don't know. I can't really defend it because, again, it is FOMO, right?
Yeah.
But it is also just, it does help in some ways to incentivize. I say this as somebody who does do, you know, heroic raids with groups when I still played WoW.
I do have some ahead of the curve achievements.
Yeah. I got all the ones in Dragonflight, like that was a big thing. But yeah, for us, it was just like, here is a goalpost. We would like to reach it as a raid group. We're not particularly hardcore. We don't do it often. We do it like once, twice a week, whatever. Bunch of friends managed to do it. That's cool. That's awesome. But I know there's some people who look at that and go, I don't want to lose that. And that can be a problem. It just plays into FOMO like everything else.
Yeah.
And so there is a cost with it, I feel, and that should at least be acknowledged. I don't know if it's, you know, necessarily good or bad here, but it is yet another psychological aspect that can play into it. And as a whole, to the achievement system, which needs to at least be, you know, considered and probably at least shunned when it's more exploitative. So I just wanted to at least throw that in there before we moved on from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's another example too of it being kind of weaponized in like gacha games a lot, where it's like you do the achievements and you get to click a little button and then you claim a reward, and it's usually like some little bit of resources or maybe a little tiny slice of premium currency.
Yeah.
So like a lot
Daily
of the players,
quests and login bonuses and everything kind of ties into the same notion as achievements, but on a much smaller scale. But
no, both in some games where it's like, here's your dailies
absolutely.
and your bonuses and then your achievements, and it's like usually it's like tied to progress, but then sometimes it'll be like, we need to feed you to engage with all the different pieces of this game you might not care about otherwise, so you can get your, you know, your little piece of premium currency so you can do draws for free. So if you're not going to pay, we're gonna force you to dump time.
Yeah.
Which gives us more opportunities to dump these ads in your face and go, look at this cool character. Aren't they cool? Wouldn't you like to try your luck at getting them? No, fuck you. Let me earn them in-game by actions or not at all.
Yeah, but that's not an achievement problem, really. That's a monetization problem.
And but it kind of ties into the same thing, like when you were away, we were talking about Vampire Survivors and incremental games and just a list, an objective list, which kind of plays into like achievement lists or whatever, which become an extrinsic reward source, which can get people stuck into it. So it's a system that has, you know, many, many, many avenues of slippery slopes that it can go down. But at its core, it's fine. It's something that can be used to highlight a moment in a game. In rare examples, it's something that can encourage you to play a game in interesting ways that you might not know existed.
Yeah.
Little things like that, it can be a good little system to help nudge people in the right direction or further give them something to engage further with the game that they like. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's the core of it. You go anything further than that and you start running the risk of problems. And that's where I think we need to be cautious about achievement hunting and that kind of culture and thought process.
Yeah. It's like a lot in the gaming space, it can be fraught, but I think that when it's done really, really well, man, it can enhance what else the game has going on.
Go play Portal 2 if you haven't played Portal 2. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah. And Dishonored. Play that too. It's good shit.
Don't play WoW though, it's owned by Microsoft.
Yeah, don't do that. Lucas, did you have anything else that you wanted to touch on? You feel like we pretty much got it?
I think we've got it.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us for episode 3 Beyond the Skybox. If you like the show, leave us a review or tell somebody about it. We love talking to all of you, so come hang out with us. You can find me on Blue Sky and Backlogged at Brian Barnett, BrianBarnett. You can find us collectively on Twitch, YouTube, and most importantly, Patreon at Skybox Critics, where you get Discord access and into the Skybox at the $5 level, and our deep dive video game book club show Skydive at the $10 level. By the way, do you mind, Chris, since this is your show and you are the executive producer of it, do you mind that I've been calling it our video game book club deep dive show?
Go for it. I mean, you're right. That's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really gratifying to get to do 2 shows as part of Skybox that I've wanted to do for ages. Like, and Chris, you and I talked about this since even before Lucas and Will were ever on the platformers, like wanting to do like an evergreen, like single game or single topic show. And now we get to do both of them. Like, how sick is that, man?
It's good stuff. And we owe it all to our Patreon members, because without which we would not be able to sustain it. So
You got that right. So help us make the industry better, one donation at a time. Patreon.com/SkyboxCritics. That's where they can find me. I also run this show and 2 of the other 4 podcasts that Skybox does. FML, throw me into the sea. You can also check out the Skybox podcast, which is our kind of video game roundup show where we talk about kind of everything. That is the most unhinged of our shows. It is basically our after dark, after hours show. And things get really insane. We answer absolutely ridiculous Patreon questions. Lucas, what's your favorite Patreon question that we've answered?
Jesus. The most recent one got pretty wild.
Which was?
Adapt a video game. No, sorry. Adapt your favorite movie into a video game for either the Kinect or the Wii.
Yeah, that was a really good one. Chris, do you have a favorite Patreon question that we've answered?
Big Lucas versus 100 Tiny Wills.
Yes, that's the best. And my go-to example is always like Jarrett's length or girth question, which like just so like that's the gamut of questions that you can ask that we will answer. So
you can ask serious ones. You can genuinely have us, do that.
You can.
But we'll answer the dumb shit as well.
Yeah, we've answered questions about like, can we get a better term than JRPG? We've had questions like, what are your favorite video game ads? We've had so many questions. So join us on Patreon. Back us at the $5 level. Join our Discord. Pop your questions
It's
in,
great.
and
It's unhinged.
we'll answer them. The Discord is really fun and crazy active. People are always talking in there about all kinds of stuff. We got like 1 billion different channels about all kinds of different things. There's even a wrestling channel where I banish people to if they talk about, you know, wrestling in the main chat, because I don't want to hear that shit. But anyways,
I'm glad you did, because I was going to do that if you didn't. Like, it was getting out of hand.
I
Guys, come on.
I can't take it, guys. Like, you get your WWE out of my fucking Gen Pop. Like, it's just ridiculous. Anyways, that's what I do. At the $5 level, as I said, Into the Skybox is available, which is the episode or our show where I have our writers on to talk about pieces that they have published on skyboxcritics.com and go in way more depth than they were able to in their pieces. It's a really fantastic show. I had one about Hamazaki Has Gotta Go with Ashley Schofield, which went like a little viral on Blue Sky, because people were just finding out that there was like this guy who was very obviously guilty of sexual assault, who was like in a Yakuza game, which like really rubbed a lot of people the wrong way and goes against what the games themselves are about. So it's really fantastic piece. Read that. It's by Ashley Schofield on our show, and we have a really lengthy conversation about it on Into the Skybox. That's at the $5 level. But anyways, Chris, where can everybody find you?
Hi, I'm Chris Cornelise. I usually go around the internet as Delphia. Most of my writing these days is on Skybox. There's not a hell of a lot of it at the moment, but I'm looking to work on that. I obviously also manage the Skydive deep dive podcasts that we do. We try and do those once every month, although scheduling has made that fall well and truly behind. But the most recent one we managed to record was on Fear, and we will be soon doing Castlevania Rondo of Blood and Xenogears. We're all just working on that. We would have recorded it this week, but Will is out of town for the Game Awards, I think. So we'll get to that as soon as we can.
Keeleys.
Yep. The Jeff Keighley Awards to enrich Jeff Keighley. But yeah, that's me. And you can find more of my writing there or on my personal website at versusthebacklog.com. That's vsthebacklog.com. How about you, Lucas?
You can find me on Blue Sky at Hokuto no Lucas. Aside from skybox.com, you can find me sometimes at shacknews.com. Sometimes I do other podcasts, so you can find my name at like Retronauts, Axe of the Blood God, stuff like that. But I'll talk about whatever I'm up to on Blue Sky, so start there.
It is Hokuto Lucas, not Hokuto no Lucas.
Oh my god. Thank you for the correction.
You've been so good about it lately that, you know, this is the first time since like episode like 1 or 2, which was like you had just made your Blue Sky, that I've had to do the correction. But yeah, I want to make sure that people can find you
with the old name, so that's probably what happened.
Yeah,
might be it. Yeah.
Had to get that. Had to wish list that Unbeatable soundtrack.
Oh yeah,
so keen.
Yeah. I gotta.
Read Lucas's review of Unbeatable on Shack News. It's good.
We have a
game afterwards.
We have a huge problem, which is that I have to play like fucking 45 more hours of Xenogears, and all I want to do is play other games to get ready for our Game of the Year discussion in January, which is fast approaching. Anyways,
don't tell me these things.
Because of that, we are gonna get out of here. So thank you all for joining us. From everybody here at Skybox, stay safe out there. Have a great week. Because until next time, we are out.
Achievement unlocked. You made it to the end.
Oh no!